We're CYGNUS Youth Group from St. Joseph's Parish in Toms River, New Jersey.
Connecting faith and life.
And you're watching Realfaith TV!
Well, a teacher should obviously be qualified in whatever subject they're teaching, but I think what makes a really great teacher is a lot of life experience, so they know how to deal with all different kinds of people and different learning styles.
Someone who's honest and respectful and always does their best to be helpful.
Great teachers do set high standards for their students, and that's what allows you to grow.
I see God in my top teachers by God is loving and merciful and patient. And my top teachers, I love them because they don't snap when someone talks out loud. They're patient with when someone doesn't do something right, and they love us because they don't give up on us.
I would say that the people that help teach me about my faith the most is my parents, because how they raised me by just going to church every Sunday and also in the household.
The best teachers for my faith have been my youth group leaders. For the past 6 or 7 years, they've always done their best to teach me everything they know and try to find out new things to teach me about my faith.
We're called to be teachers outside the classroom by living out our faith and telling others to respect other people and just doing the nice things that we should do every day.
Hey Christian, what comes to mind when you think of a top teacher?
Let me think. Yeah, big red apple. Because the best teachers deserve a big red apple. No, seriously, I have a lot of teachers at the top of my list. Each one has played a special part in the person that I am and continue to become.
I have a list of top teachers too. Teachers have the great opportunity to engage, inspire, and empower their students.
And to teach them.
They believe in us and help us to believe in ourselves.
So who are the teachers you think deserve a big red apple?
Top teachers. That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Emily.
And I'm Christian. And this is Realfaith TV. We'd like to thank the CYGNUS Youth Group from St. Joseph's Parish in Toms River, New Jersey, for helping us open our show today.
So were you paying close attention to the open? Did you see me? That's my youth group from my parish.
Yes, I did, Emily, and rumor has it you're one of the wild card guests.
Oh, it's no rumor, Christian.
I can't wait. Let's get to it. Think about it. Who is the teacher who's made the biggest impact on you?
The teacher who's helped you discover your talents or gifts.
The teacher who has brought out the best in you or shown you something new in yourself.
What was it about them that made them a good teacher?
Our spotlight guest, Carolee, a former RFTV host and current student at Louisiana State University,
moved around a lot and experienced different schools.
Let's go to the wall and hear what she thinks makes a good teacher.
I think the qualities that make a good teacher are when they're patient and compassionate and really passionate about their job too, like somebody who really genuinely enjoys teaching and cares about their students and if they succeed and whether or not if they just hit their marks for the quarter or whatever. They're generally caring about people. Somebody who has life experience and generally is interested in their subject they're teaching too, because if they're not interested in it, neither are their students going to be. I think it's really important for a teacher to create a sense of belonging and a good environment. I think teachers that are interactive is something that's also really important. I moved around a lot as a kid, so I had a lot of different teachers and got to go to a lot of different schools, but I think my favorite teachers were in high school for sure. I had an awesome French teacher named Miss Weber, or Madam Weber, and then I had a really good science teacher named Mr. Bauer, and they both just really cared about me and they made me actually enjoy learning again, because it's having to go home and do 5 hours of homework from all my AP courses or having to go to sports practice, and then they just like made learning fun again because it wasn't homework to me that I was doing for that class, and that when I was in class, they weren't just reading out of the textbook or reading off a PowerPoint. It was interactive and class was fun. You don't usually get that out of a language or a science. So I also think that a teacher doesn't have to have a formal education. It doesn't have to be somebody that's went to school for it and sits in the classroom in front of you and lectures to you. I think it also can be somebody that you see on an everyday basis. I mean, your parents are your teachers, your friends can be your teachers. Anybody that you can learn anything from is something that's one of your teachers.
Some of my favorite teachers are truly passionate about their work, and that's what I love, and that's what Carolee said.
And I love how like some of them like really care about the students, and it goes kind of beyond teaching, not just punching the clock and getting a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what our studio guests have to say about this topic.
Okay, they are
Ryan,
Rebecca,
Alec,
Megan,
Naira.
and Amanda.
So, thinking about a good teacher you've had, name the qualities you really liked about them and why.
Well, for me, I kind of like a teacher that's very, I guess, down to earth and approachable, like one that you can kind of go to with your problems, and like I said before, like goes beyond the classroom and is really there for you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you're not so scared to almost ask them questions. You're like very comfortable with them and feel like you can talk to them. Like some teachers, I know that sometimes I was scared to be like, I don't want her to yell at me if I ask her. But I had one teacher that I was really able to go up to, and I had conversations with her sometimes at my lunch or whenever I was free.
I think a good teacher is a teacher that doesn't just teach one way and expect all the students to get to know it, because every student learns differently. Like I know I'm a visual learner, so if a teacher draws a graph on a board, I can understand it better than if she just talks about it. So a teacher that can take all the different learning types and teach the students in ways that everyone would understand.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a good teacher, I think, is someone who pushes you beyond where you thought your comfort level and your skill level was, because you find out that you're so much better at something than you ever thought you could be.
A great teacher can make a difference, not just in the classroom, but in their students' life.
We often look at teachers as role models. They can inspire and motivate us to work harder and to succeed.
Next, Carolee discusses how her high school French teacher inspired her.
And how a college professor impressed her with his ability to make personal connections with a class of 800 students.
800 students, really?
Yep, that's what Carolee said.
I want to see this.
See and believe, Christian.
Let's check it out.
My French teacher in high school was one of the best teachers I've ever had because I am not good at French. But she didn't give up on me. She pushed me to take French 3, even though I only had to take 2 years of a language to graduate. She pushed me to keep going forward, even though it wasn't my best subject, because she wanted me to learn. I got a C one semester, and I'm not a C student, and that was really something for me to grasp and hold on to. But she took the time for me to stay after school and study. She gave me books and definitions and dictionaries and anything she could that would help me study. She was the sweetest lady, and I think that that's a teacher that I will never forget in my whole life, because she genuinely cared about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, and she thought that that was something that was really gonna help me. A great teacher definitely has to create that good environment in the class, and a personal experience where that happened to me would be actually in college when I took my first mass comm course, which is my major, and all of a sudden the teacher got up and started walking around the classroom, and this is a huge lecture hall. It's the biggest class on campus. There are 800 kids in this class, and usually the professors just stand at the front of the room and read off the lecture, and everybody leaves when they want to leave. But it was the second day of class, and nobody ever teaches the second day of class. Usually it's still just going over syllabus. So the teacher all of a sudden gets up and grabs a microphone and just starts calling on people. It was just so amazing to watch people actually interact, especially in college, because I was I didn't expect it to be like that, because in high school they're always wait till you get to college, nobody's gonna care about you there. But the teacher generally wanted to know where people are at, where their learning curves were, and especially with 800 kids, how do you do that? So for him to just take the time to even walk around and not just give his agenda, but want to know how we wanted to learn and how much we already knew, that was really cool to watch that happen.
I think I agree with what she was saying because I know a lot of teachers at my school, like, they'll help you, they'll go out of their way to, like, give you a dictionary if you don't understand, or, like, help you stay after with you until you get it when you have a test the next day. And they just go out of their way and try to help you with everything.
That personal connection really makes the difference.
Yeah, I really love it when teachers do like the small little things to make sure everyone understands what you're learning. Like what you said, take out a dictionary if someone doesn't understand like a word you said in English, or possibly go over a math question in math class that you didn't get. Because sometimes I don't understand things as fast as others. I personally am a visual learner, and most people aren't in my classes. So in my case, I don't have that much of an advantage. But my math teacher is a visual learner, and I love how not only is he a visual learner, but he talks through the equations too. So I think I love it when teachers do like the small things to make sure that everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had one teacher, it was from my AP European History class, and what she would do every time we had like a test coming up, she'd say, okay, here's my after school day, come in and we'll spend like an hour on it. And she'd pull up the review that we had, and the reviews had like 100 terms on it, and she'd go through every single one, made sure we all knew them. And when the midterms came up, she did that again, and there was like double the terms. And when the AP test came around, she did that again, and there was even more terms. So, I mean, it was just amazing how she always used to do that, and I really appreciate what she did.
For me, having a personal connection with my teachers has always been really important because I have a disability, so I can't usually see what's going on in class. So to know that I have a teacher that I can go to and say, can you say this again because I wasn't able to see what you were doing or see the math equation that you were writing, it's very helpful. And I actually ended up picking a college off of where I thought I would get that personal connection with my professors.
And I liked how Carolee said she liked to see people actually talking with each other, because sometimes that makes the overall classroom experience a lot better if you're able to communicate with everyone you're sitting with.
The personal connection definitely makes a difference. Listed as number 8 on the world's top10.com list of the world's greatest and most famous teachers, Friedrich Froebel created the kindergarten system.
He redefined the concept of education and emphasized using gifts and play materials in education.
He believed that using these tools would help teachers identify the interests and aptitudes of their students.
The term kindergarten, coined by him, means a garden for children, and fit this new concept of education he developed.
Kindergarten, a garden for children. I love it.
Yeah, those were the days. I remember my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Bowles, taught us how to say the Our Father and the Hail Mary and stuff, which was really awesome.
Awesome. A lot has changed through the years. Let's go back to our spotlight guest, Carolee.
She'll tell us how her views of teachers changed.
And how the quality of our education is dependent upon the amount of effort we put into our studies.
In middle school, I wanted anybody that was going to give me an A. But getting into high school, I had a really easy teacher freshman year, and I didn't learn a thing. I was in English, and that was my only year that I wasn't in honors English. I didn't really learn a lot about English-wise. I learned about other things because she went off on tangents, and she was a great person, but it was an easy class. So going to the next year, the English teacher was 10 times harder, but his quality of teaching was 10 times better because he was into what he cared about. So what he was teaching wasn't just instrumental to his lesson plan because he was being evaluated by the district. It was also that he genuinely cared about us and wanted us to get good grades. He wanted us to learn from our mistakes. So if you got a C on that test, you had to go and talk to him. It was about initiative and not giving you a hand and letting you eat out of it. You learn that your teachers can't all be easy and that it can't be an easy A, or else you're never really gonna learn anything, and that you can't really slide through life like that because that's not how the real world works.
So have any of you guys had a teacher that's taught you something that you still carry with you today?
You know, back to that personal connection, my media arts teacher taught me to always go for my full potential and taught me that like my dreams can become a reality, and I definitely just believe in myself so much more because of that, and it's definitely something I always carry with me.
Yeah, that's what my first grade teacher was like trying to say. Like, she always had this little quote. It was like, good, better, best, never let it rest until you're better and your better is best. So until you accomplish it, you won't get better at it.
Yeah, I remember my science teacher in 6th grade, Mrs. Salmonick, she told us it's not about who has all the right answers, it's about where you find those answers, and that just kind of shows that it's not the people that know everything, like the know-it-alls, but it's about being resourceful and being able to find those answers and know what to do with them.
And for my 7th grade English teacher, I was really able to take away not being so shy in front of others, because at first I wasn't that good of a public speaker, and I wouldn't volunteer so much when they'd be, who wants to read? But by the end of the year, I was so comfortable with everyone, and I was able to project my voice, and I was volunteering by the end of the year.
I love it when teachers do that. And the thing about teachers is that they can affect us in so many ways that we don't even know. For example, I was watching The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Matt Damon was talking about how much he loved his teachers, right? And how much they were an inspiration to him. And when you think about it, Matt Damon has a lot of fans who look up to him as an inspiration. So when you think about it, that one teacher that helped Matt Damon become such a great actor affected not only Matt Damon, but his family, his friends, the people that support him. So teachers can really affect not only just one person, but so many other people as well, without even meeting them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like my 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Skillet, she was always like, she was very, very stern, very tough. But she was a good teacher, and I mean, I liked her a lot, and I know she liked me as a student, and she was always like an inspiration to me to like try my hardest, and like even if I got like a bad grade, she would still be an inspiration to me to keep going. And when I did a play at my high school, she was there and she saw it, and it just made me so happy that she was there, and like the way that it just
comes full circle almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. The late Jaime Escalante was a famous teacher known for teaching advanced math in a school in East Los Angeles. His story was portrayed in the movie Stand and Deliver in 1988.
He inspired his students who were labeled unteachable to excel in math and pass the Advanced Placement Calculus test.
In the 5 years he taught at Garfield High School, 77 students passed the AP test.
At the height of Escalante's influence, Garfield graduates were entering the University of Southern California in such great numbers that they outnumbered all the other high schools in the working-class East Los Angeles region combined.
Even students who failed the AP test went on to become star students at California State University, Los Angeles, in large numbers.
He really knew how to bring out the best in his students.
But you know, we're all called to bring out the best in others.
Totally. We can make a real difference in the lives of others and not necessarily in a traditional school setting.
Emily, you're setting up your own wildcard segment, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I got you. Next, Emily shares with us a time when she was a retreat leader and given the chance to be a teacher.
Let's go to the wall. As a retreat leader, I was able to share my story with other students who were probably going through some of the same things. It taught me that a lot of people have similar stories as you, and they all need similar guidance, and being in a position of leadership was one of the most amazing experiences of high school so far.
That was awesome, Emily. I'm really impressed. What about you guys? Do you guys remember a time when you guys were good teachers?
Well, this summer I took part of the mini guard program at my beach at Skillet, and what we do is we teach like the small children so they can go up to be junior guards. And so I was in charge with the 8-year-olds and up, and they started out, you know, like little kids are. They have their friend and they stay together and all that. But like I really tried to encourage them and all that to like branch out and all that. And it was really cool how on the first day, like the head lifeguard introduced me as Coach Alec, and they all started calling me Coach Alec. And like I missed a week, and the week that I came back, they were all like, "Oh, hey, Coach Alec," and they were all like really excited and all that. So it was great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I have the same story. I mean, I'm a camp counselor for Monmouth County Park System, and I counsel the little kids like you. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of the week and Monday, they're all shy and really don't know each other. But I see through the week, I teach them to say, look, like, you can all be friends. You're all at the same camp. We're all going to have fun. And by the end of the week, Friday, they're crawling to come back, and they really don't want to leave. So I really like how I teach them to not be so shy and be themselves.
So it's not like the typical, like what teachers would teach, like math, science. It'd be like life lessons, right? That's why that's why like how teens can teach, not like math, science, things that teachers teach. We could teach our own things.
Just like you said, in more of an unofficial way, I made a friend in high school who had gone to Catholic school for a while but didn't really know what he really believed. And just in being friends with him and talking about religion when it came up, I was able to kind of help him figure out what it really means to be a Catholic, and he's really much more into our faith now.
He saw God in you.
Well, I actually attend after school cares. Like right after I go to track practice, I go to St. Ben's, help out with the little kids at aftercare. And I saw these little kids, they were trying to play soccer and they couldn't get the ball into the goals and they were arguing with each other. So I told them instead of working against each other, they could work with each other. And when they tried it, they actually scored a goal and they were pretty happy about it. So, yeah.
Awesome. So Pope Francis was quoted as saying, "A good teacher does not get lost in the details."
Each one of us has the example to teach others about the faith through our words and actions.
Lastly, our spotlight guest, Carolee, discusses some of the most influential teachers she's had regarding her Catholic faith.
And gives insight into how she became a teacher to others when bringing them to God.
My parents were a really big influence on me. They taught me my faith, which is something that's really big in my life. Everything revolves around it. It led me to who I wanted to be, what I wanted to study. So I think they're the people that I would say embody the best teacher that I've ever known, which is so cliche because they're your parents and everybody says that. When I'm a parent, I hope that I'm half the parent my parents were. They were also my youth group leaders, and growing up, they always brought me to church and taught me what my religion meant to me and how I could make it my own. My parents mostly taught me what it actually meant and how I could apply it to my daily life rather than just picking up a Bible and reading a verse. I guess I taught my friends about my faith a lot too though, because I brought, I think 10 friends to church in high school. Some of those friends came back, some of them didn't, and some of the people that I did bring to church are now avid church goers. So I think that that is something that definitely that I've been a good teacher for. I've taught people that there's a God. I mean, I brought an atheist to church one time. Sometimes it doesn't always work out in your favor, but I think that I've had some wins and definitely some losses. I see God in my top teachers, I think through their compassion, because the Bible constantly is telling us to be compassionate and to care about everyone and to take everyone as they are and to love one another. So I think that that's how I see God mostly through my teachers, even if we don't have the same religion.
I would definitely say that God is probably the #1 teacher.
Definitely. Out of the 90 times people refer to Jesus in the Gospels, he is called teacher 60 of them.
That was his main job, to teach all of us about the faith and to think that more than 2,000 years later, the faith he taught us is still going strong.
It does help, though, to be God and man at the same time.
Yeah, I would say that gives him just a tad bit of an advantage.
All kidding aside, Jesus definitely gets the top teacher award. So how about you guys? What do you like about Jesus' teaching style?
I like how what he teaches, it really makes you think about who you are and as a person and all that. The one story was one where the woman was dragged through the streets and they were going to stone her. And Jesus says, "He who is without sin may cast the first stone." And it really makes you think because no one is without sin except for Jesus. And you can't go and judge someone without having yourself judged and yourself pure. You can't go and ridicule someone else.
Also, with Jesus, he didn't just teach and then leave. He came into a town and he taught the people and he lived with the people he was teaching. He was accessible to them.
Made himself very available.
Exactly.
And I like how he was able to reach a broad community, not just a few people. He was able to reach people from tax collectors to fishermen, and he was all able to teach them in a group, and they all were able to learn.
Yeah, he wasn't scared of his audience. Teachers, not every student agrees with what you're saying. Yeah. And Jesus had so much faith in God and had so much passion about what he was talking about that he wasn't afraid.
So do you guys have any closing remarks on teachers?
I really think from a young age that teachers can change the way you'll turn out eventually. And I really like how some of the younger teachers in 1st and 2nd grade know that, and they're able to teach you life lessons starting from a young age all the way through high school and college.
I think that teachers not only can leave an educational mark on you, but they can help you through a rough time that you're going through. Like if you're really close with that one teacher who you can just tell everything to, and they can help you through life and anything that you ask.
And you never know, something you say, even if you don't mean to be a teacher, there's almost always someone looking up to you or that idolizes you for some reason. And you never know what something you say, what kind of effect that could have on someone else and maybe even a much bigger audience.
Yeah, I agree with that point because I coach youth football and a lot of the times like the little kids, they kind of look up to me as their role model. Like I don't even realize it because I'm just kind of in the hustle and bustle of it all. But looking back at the end of the season and seeing how they've all grown, it's very inspiring, and it kind of makes me feel good that I made a mark in someone's life. I also think that it goes kind of beyond the football field as well, teaching them just to be polite, for the water boys, say, oh, thanks for the water. It's life lessons like that really kind of make me not reminisce, but look forward to being a father, and I'd want that same role model in my son's life that I was. So it's kind of comes full circle in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, teachers aren't only there to just teach us, but there to be our friends and help us out with our tough times and just be there for us.
I think teachers are very important.
Mm-hmm.
In his article, Good Teaching, the Top 10 Requirements, Richard LeBlanc, a professor at York University, wrote that teaching is like
locking eyes with the student in the back row and seeing the synapses and neurons connecting, thoughts being formed, the person becoming better.
And a smile cracking across a face as learning all of a sudden happens.
That's pretty cool. Good teachers share their passion and help connect the content with something deeper.
Good teachers challenge their students and show how they too continue to learn.
Who is your top teacher and why?
We want to know.
Contact us at realfaithtv.com.
Or share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
And we will leave you today with this from the National Catholic Education Association's prayer for teachers.
God of love, thank you for every teacher who notices a child's special gift.
Thank you for teachers who are listeners and gentle guides.
Thank you for teachers who expect much and love enough to demand more.
Thank you for the special teacher each one of us remembers.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV. God bless.